was a lot of abuse of my body at that time. And I wasn't necessarily doing the right things. I wish that 47-year-old Kerstin could go back to 27 and 37-year-old Kerstin and tell her, but if you pay attention to what you're putting in your mouth and how you're exercising and how you're sleeping, you will get through this waiting period quicker. And it will be easier and it won't hurt as bad. But we give ourselves grace, right? Yeah. It really wasn't until I was about 39 after my mom died of Alzheimer's. And it wasn't just the death of my mother from that horrible, horrible disease, but it was what we estimate is probably a 12-year battle. We think we started to see the first signs when she was 58, 59 years old. So she missed really seeing me have babies and being for me then. She would never become a grandmother in any meaningful sense of the word. And as I was losing her, what happened was she had a brain scan. We sat down with the doctor and he put up an image of her brain and there were dark spots there. And at this time I had both of my babies. They were brand new. They were little, 5 months apart, and they were little babies. And I was holding them and I'm looking up there and the doctor said, "You see those dark spots up there? Those are likely a result of stress." And my first thought was, oh, so some of this is avoidable. Like, my mom's not here. She missed the birth of her grandkids due to dementia. And some of this is avoidable. How can I make sure that this doesn't happen to me so I don't do this to these two babies that I'm holding right now? It was such a heartbreaking moment for me right there because I needed my mom so much and I knew that my babies were going to need me like I needed her one day, and I had to make sure that I was around if I could do anything about it. So that was really the big turning moment, and that's when I started getting really into health and nutrition and fitness, went back to school to IIN, and that set me on this road.
Yeah. I mean, it's really, and I think that's one of the reasons why I call the HIListically Speaking podcast one of those traumas to triumph stories, because it's when these things happen, because we don't know when they're outside of ourselves what we're going to do with that information once we have it, right? Once we're presented with it, once there's no choice. Let me retract that. There's always choice. What choice we make, right? What we're going to do next. And when you're in it, when you're in the throes of it, you realize, how do I want to live powerfully? And I think I connect with what you're saying, especially with your mom's health. And I understand that too, from having a dad that was sick my whole life. I think it kind of put that bug in my ear to want to live healthier. What can I do for my holistic approach to living, right? That whole body approach. Yeah. And we kind of learn by doing.
If you look back 50 years ago, a woman who was, I'm 47 years old, or who was 50 or 55, would be slowing down, not, working as hard. Children would be way out of the nest. And maybe we're taking care of an aging parent. Maybe that's about it. Fast forward, now what we're doing is having babies at 48. So we're going through that in a biological time when we cannot metabolize stress, and we're taking care of aging parents, and there is more Alzheimer's and dementia than ever before. So we're not just taking care of somebody who's sick, we're dealing with one of the cruelest diseases, which is the hardest to manage on top of that. And we are believing in, which is completely true, that we can reinvent ourselves and work harder than ever at 50 and have this next chapter, but we are working harder. So we're not slowing down and taking more time. So we're in this kind of conundrum then. What do we do? I'm not going to say don't have a baby later in life. I'm not going to say don't take care of your parents. I'm not going to say don't go after that dream, because you should go after your dreams. What you have to have are the tools to put in place every single day that can kind of then allow your biological body to get into that rest and recovery, not be in the fight or flight, but in the rest or recovery and get out of stress, so that you can have both good stress going for that dream, taking care of that baby, but then you're minimizing the bad stress. Oh, I'm exhausted. I'm not sleeping. I'm eating bad. I'm worried all the time. So it is more prevalent now, unfortunately, but we're not doing the things that we need to do to be able to allow ourselves to thrive in this time.
Yeah, this is a really good topic. I'm really glad you brought that up, especially. And we're going to touch on that just a second, but I want to let folks know that are tuning in that Kerstin Lindquist is the guest on this show. You might have seen her before when her 13 years on QVC. Maybe you saw us together. I don't know. It's possible. Yeah. But also, you know, with Kerstin being in the space of health and wellness, being an integrative nutrition health coach, also being just a rocket fuel for stressing less, for surrendering that stress. She's actually offering a discount for her workshops. I'm going to put the links in the podcast for that. But speaking of podcasts, let's talk about Stressed.